Good morning, Canadian Yarn Heart. My name's Alyssa, and as you can see, Maya is right there. She's up on the bed behind me, rolling around like crazy. So if you are a new viewer, thank you very much for coming. I very much appreciate it. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I very much appreciate that. Just a quick synopsis of what I like to do here is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do a quick daily update, basically showing you projects I'm working behind the scenes where I'm either filming on a different setup or they're longer, so they take a while, so I take time with them. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I do a project video. Like today, we're going to be doing this cute little snowman coaster, pretty much all my own idea, all my own design. So I've had this sitting around for a little while. I couldn't figure out how to finish the tree. I managed to figure that out. So we're going to make him. So I would love to hear from you and any question, comments, or concerns you have below. I would love to hear from my viewers. I would love to earn your like and subscription today. I just noticed there's a couple of threads here. I will admit the back of it is a little messy, but you are supposed to sit with it facing you. So, you know, not too worried about it. It is going to require a few bits of colors and it might take a little bit of time. So it's probably going to take a couple of hours, but I'm going to move you over to the overhead cam and we're going to get started. So as I said, this is my own design. I did come up with it all on my own. Was very much giving me troubles. I do hope you stick with me through it. It might be a little bit complicated, but I think I can talk you through it. So the yarn we're going to use is obviously green for the tree. I have black for the snowman, a tiny, tiny little piece of orange, the white for the snowman and the tree, the base of the coaster because you wanted to make sure that the base is slightly different. And then I needed brown for the arms. And I have this. So I'm going to go through each yarns. I'm going to start with the base yarn. And that one, I'll give you all the details of. I just wanted to get through the colors first. This is just a general acrylic I have kicking around. It's not very large. It's like an inch. So for the base, we're going to use the Yarn Up Bundle Up Bernat Bundle Up Yarnspirations. It is a 4 medium. It requires a 5mm hook or a 5mm needle, or that was backwards, a 5mm needle and a 5mm hook, 5.5mm hook. It can be machine washed and dried. This color is marshmallow. I did get it at Lens Mills for $7.99. So that is the first. This one is 100% of polyester. So we're going to use that one for the base. The tree will be Yarnspirations Bernat Premium, 100% acrylic. This is called Patty Green. It is a 4 medium. It recommends a 4mm hook or a 5mm hook and a 5mm needle. So that is for the base of the tree. The snow on the tree and the snowman is going to be Red Heart Yarnspiration Super Saver Metallic. Oh, this one is, I don't know if I said it, but it is 100% acrylic. So the base is polyester. Then this is another acrylic, if I'm not mistaken. This is white. It is 98 acrylic and 2% other fibers, which will be the fibers that are strand for the iridescence. So this is a 4 medium. It recommends a 5.5mm hook and a 5mm needle. Now, in Canada, we do not have standards for this. I have found out that the Oikotex symbol actually states that it has been tested to make sure there's no harmful chemicals in it. We don't have anything up here that matters, so it's not really a big thing to us. But I do have to say, when I order a yarn and I find it on there, I'm glad it's there because I know that it's chemical free. So if you see that, it is an American thing. If I got that wrong, please let me know. Like I said, I'm not American, so for me, I don't actually have that, but I've heard some people say that it's testing the yarn and the yarn's supposed to be clean. So The black that we use on the Snowman, just like the little bit of orange, is acrylic. This is a polyester. It's Bernat Velvet from Yarn Inspirations. Apparently, this whole thing's going to be done by Yarn Inspirations today, except for the mainstays on the brown. So this is a polyester. It is a 5 bulky. It recommends a 6.5 millimeter needle and a 6 millimeter hook. Now, this yarn recommends hand washing. However, I can fully 100% attest. I have put this in the machine washing quite frequently. I have a couple of coffee cozies I quite frequently wash, and they come out just fine. The only thing they might do is what is called worming. Now, worming is where it will kind of have loops throughout it. So you'll have your work and it'll kind of loop through and look really, really ugly. That is worming. And I do believe you get that through knitting. I have not managed to do this without knitting. But if you do a thick enough or a thin enough hook, so if you use a 3.5 or a 3, you're going to have the consistency and a consistent stitch like a single crochet, which I use for my coffee cup cozies. They don't worm. They come out really, really nice. They don't seem to worm, and you can wash them. Now we're on to the last yarn. That was a polyester. This one I'm pretty sure is 100% acrylic. It is a 4 medium. It does recommend a 5.5 millimeter needle and a 5.5 millimeter hook, and it is called Latte Stripe. This is just because it's brown. If you have a different brown, by all means. I don't have a lot of brown, so this is the one I started with. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start with a magic circle. So you're going to want to make a circle with pinching your thumb and your index finger and wrap around the other finger. So you pull up the loop, put your hook through, tighten around the loop, and grab the base of the stitch. And then you can chain 1, chain 2, and now that is your working thread. So you want to single crochet 6 single crochets here. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I do have to say the nice part about this will be you will be working with one pretty much yarn at a time. So you don't need 10 yarn strands going for this, although you have a lot of yarn. Oh, sorry, I've got a yarn barf here. That is preventing me from doing better. So now you can pull tight, and there is 2 loops here. I like to go with the second 2 loops and slip stitch through all of them. Now you're always going to chain 2 after you slip stitch. That's how you start the next row. You are going to increase in every row on this stitch now. So you're going to have 2 single crochets in every stitch. That's how you increase. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then most people will say to you that is not a stitch, and to ignore it. If you are doing a hat or a Christmas ornament or a ball or a coffee cup cozy, I recommend actually a coffee cup cozy. I actually crochet it in as well, like I'm going to show you in a second. You can just slip stitch here, but that will make it curl up. I want it flat, so I'm going to single crochet in those 2 stitches and then slip stitch here, and that'll make it a much more flat surface to work with. It adds a bit more stitches to it, but it gives you a much more flat look at the end, and I very much like that. Now, any returning viewers will know I am going to take my ends and I'm going to trim them off. So I'm just going to pull through, and you want to really pull because you really do want to make sure that your single crochet magic ring does not come out on you. And it can if you don't pull it tight enough and darn it in well. It can worm its way open. I do find that this yarn does not like this darting needle for some reason. I've noticed that in the last day or two when I've had to use it. It is not my friend when using it. Erg. So 1, 2, and just slip stitch. And then just pull that out. There we go. And now we're going to trim off. There we go. So now you're going to chain 2 because you finished that row. 1, 2. So now we're going to 1 single crochet and 1 increase. 2 and 1 single crochet and 1 increase. And you're going to do that all the way to the end. Now you're going to be increasing for a while. You're going to want to make this coaster fairly large. I can't remember how many increases I did, so I'll count in just a second. Yeah, okay. 1 increase, and then increase. And then 1 and increase. So I have to say, as I said, I'm very proud of this design. I did come up with it completely on my own. It's all stuff I just sat down and figured out what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do it. So now that we're in the next row, you're going to do 2 stitches and then increase. And this is how you increase in a magic circle. You just continue adding every increase. The next row, you add a stitch in between the increases. So I'm going to pause in just a second. I will count out my stitches on the next one, and I'll tell you when I'll come back for how many stitches are in between each increase, and we'll work from there. So okay, so increasing, did it up to, I think that row doesn't have an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's magic circle, double, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do up to every 6 stitches in between. So what I mean is you're going to have 6 stitches in between each increase, and then you're going to do your increase. So this one has 2, 1, 2, and then increase. You're going to work your way all the way up until you have 6 stitches in between each increase. 2, increase. So I will be back when I have the 6 stitches increase, and I will show you what the next steps are. So I think I'm going to do 2 more rows of increase. I think I'll flip it over here and we'll see. I think 2 more rows of increase will be good. So I think we can do that. So it should be 6, 8. So 8 stitches in between each increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then increase. And I'm going to finish that. When I come back, I will have the 8th row done as well. Okay, so now you're going to do 3 straight rows of just going around in single crochet. So you just want to do 3 rows straight single crochet, and then I will come back and I will show you the next row. Isn't a full row. It's going to be how we get the snowman on there. So I will come back and I will show you how to do that next. Okay, so I have it all done now. And now the next row, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 2. you're going to single crochet 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. There. And now you're done with the marshmallow. So you can put that one away now. You don't need it anymore. So that one's done. I'm going to pull that up and through. You're done pretty much with the coaster now. You will just be sewing things onto it. Actually, I think I have to do Snowman on. Okay, so we're going to come down here and we're just going to darn our needle in. Oh gosh, squeaky needle. There we go. There we go. Actually, I'm going to double back just because I do not want this one coming out at all. So we are going to double back, going this way. And that's better. We're going to trim. And we're done that for now. So now we are done that one. So now we're going to get the white. So now what you want to do is you want to come in. You're going to chain 2 or 3. So 1, 2, 3. Wrap. 1. So 3. Oh shoot, I'm doing this the wrong way. All right. So the one thing you want to make sure you do is once you get that on there, you got to turn your work. And you want to work from the back. That is a very important thing to do. So now you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 15 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. If you have thin Tunisian needles, this would be a good time to use them. Go through all the way to the bottom. 1, 2. So you go through, you secure the stitch, chain 2, and then you're going to do a stitch at the end. Now you're going to go 1, 2. This one you are going to have to go on the opposite side, but so you're going to do 10 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you come through, secure it, 1, 2, and then you grab that farthest chain stitch, so your chain, and you single crochet into your chain. You're going to do this one more time. You're going to turn. There we go. Now this one you're going to do 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you're at 1, 2, And this one, you're just going to single crochet that down. And you can now pull that one out, and you're not done with this white, but you're done on the snowman with the white. So you can darn that in. So I'm going to go through down here and just darn down here. And we're just going to darn our end in, ensuring that's nice and tight. And it won't come undone on us. And you go under that one. Just kind of. I know that I want that one just pulled back just a little bit, so I'm going to do that right now. Nothing major or anything, just more looks. I like having that one out of the way. So there you have it. You can trim off this end. So now we're going to start with the black velvet. And what you want to do is I'm going to do a chain 2 here. So 1, 2. Go at the top and go 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2, 1, 2, turn, chain 2 more, and then work these 2 stitches as a single crochet. So 1, sorry for it being black, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that might be a bit too much, so I'm going to actually not do that. And I'm just going to work my single crochets up here. It might not have the look quite of having a stitch out here, but I think I can work with that. So that is that one. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim a little bit of length. Actually, I think I can do one more row up top. So we're going to do that first. It looks better if I just go 1, 2, and then you just do 1 here and 1 here. And then there's that, and you've got a bit of, there we go, that looks a little better. So now you're going to darn these ends in. And yes, a lot of times it's just about how you like it looking. If you want it to look a little bit better, you can do that and just keep fiddling with it until you get it the way you want it. That's what I want, just a little bit out. So it has the appearance of a hat. I come down here, and then I'm going to go across here. Now, the next black you're going to do is literally, you're just going to trim these 2 ends. Now, you're going to leave yourself about that much of a tail, so about 6 inches, I'd say. As a general idea, you won't need the black after that. Leave my crochet hook right here for a sec. Now you're going to start with the eyes. And what I have definitely learned by doing enough of these now is you want to come through, leaving a little bit of a tail, and there's a strand there. You want to make sure there's a white strand in there. And I'm going to tie this up. just because all you're doing now is tying. So you're not really doing much other than that. So there's that. If you do not like that, I would recommend come out one more time and just reconfigure exactly where you had it. Do it exactly the same and then do the next one beside it. The eyes do change as I go along. Sometimes I get lines, sometimes I get cute little dots. Oops, pulled too hard on that one. So we're going to do that again. Let's see if I can get two of them to at least look close to the same. So we're going to do one more on this side. Sometimes it takes a few times with a little bit of black just to... Now what I recommend is come down to midway through the white second ball. Now this is a button, and yet again make sure you get white in between it. Come back through, do it 2 or 3 times just to make sure you can get it obvious and that it's there and you want it there. If you come through the side, one to the other side, and that should be a pretty good one. Now I do like to come through right in between the two snowballs. I think that's a natural placement for a button. So I grab a little bit of white on the top, a little bit of white on the bottom. I go through the back, and then I will go through a couple more times around that stitch, making sure that that looks good. Now, this one, what you're going to do, you're going to lift the white up a bit, line up where you want your black, which I want it one more stitch over, just like that. There we go. So you're just gonna go through the back, and you are stitching it onto the back now, kind of. You're just kind of reinforcing it on the back, so it's not... It might be a lot more stiff on the back. It's no longer quite as floppy back there, and it'll give it a bit of structure. Now I'm gonna have to do that again. So I pulled too hard. So we pull out, down again. There we go. That looks a little better. So now I'm going to run it up. Just darn it through the back. Up towards that. I don't know if you can get one in there. Good on ya. Get a good tight. Trim it off. Now we're going to do the nose. The nose is super, super simple. Really helps the snowman grab some life. So you just want to make a slip stitch. And as I said, the smallest amount of yarn is needed here, maybe only an inch or two. And then you want to go back to that first slip knot. You want to grab your strand from there, and you're going to tie these two up. So you have just like that. And now what you can do is string them both on the needle. Put the nose where you want it most. So right about there is where I think it'll do the best, right there. And I just kind of tie it in and trim that off. Now we're going to do the arms. So your orange is done, your black is done. We're going to do the brown now, and it's just the simplest little... You're going to do very similar. So you're going to go... So you're going to chain 1, 2, come back to the singles, crochet, and slip stitch. And then you're just gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how you do it. So there's one arm that you're going to attach right there. I'm going to string the brown arm strand through the arm, bringing it down to the beginnings, so that way you have them both together. There we go. And just like you did for the nose. In and to the back. So there's one arm. I'm not going to tie it on yet because you want to make sure you get the second one. So slip knot. 1, 2, go in your slip knot again. Slip knot together. And then 1, 2, 3. Having a tail, I should say, not trail. There you go. So there's that one. So now you're yet again going to just string it down. And then we're going to start on the tree. I do like to put a knot at the bottom of it. That's just a personal pet of mine, mainly so that they don't, if one of these threads comes out on you, it's no big deal. So now you're going to want to put it in here. Find the spot you want to thread it on, and I'm just going to tie these two in. Not too worried about it. The back's already pretty messy. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could take a piece of white felt and put it on the back. I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to tie this up. And then we're going to start on the tree. So there's that. So there's your little snowman. So now we're going to start on the tree. Now the tree was, I need the white and the green. So the tree is a triangle that you're going to start with. So you're going to magic circle. Oh, please don't fall. There we go. So you're going to magic circle this, and you're going to do 6 stitches. So single crochet 6 into your little 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, this is where it will be a little bit more difficult. I know it took me a couple of times to figure it out. I had to do it a few times. So, chain 2, increase 1, 2, single crochet 1, 2, 1, 2, then 1, and then you're going to single crochet 2, and you're going to do 1, and then 1 on the bottom. So now, that didn't work quite right, but I think it possibly be because that center hole is not tight. There we go. That's better. 1, 2. So now you're going to 1, 2, and you're going to go over 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think it's 2. So you increase. So you do 3 at each, or no, 2 at each corner, and then you do 1, 2. See, this one's got a third one. I don't know why. 3, and then increase. 1, 2. And if you need to, you can put stitch markers at each increase. I do not remember how many I did, but I know I didn't do a huge amount of them. So 1, 2, 3, and then around. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and now it should be 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do the next stitch, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, it's 4, and then you increase 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to slip stitch. I am going to do this, I think it's 2 more rows. 1, 2, we're going to increase 1, 2. Oh, that's not the right spot. 2. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then actually 5. I think, or is it 6? Yeah, it's 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then increase 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to do one more stitch here just to make it 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think, is that the size or do I need another one? That's the size. So now I'm just going to pull this off, and this is where it's going to get really confusing. So this is where it starts to become a bit more confusing for me. I'm hoping I can explain this right and well. And we are going to start with the last bit of the white. And what we're going to do is we're going to line the tree. So I'm just going to tighten up my stitches here. Tighten that up. Got this one. You could, if you really wanted to, you could stuff this one. I'm not too worried about it. So I am just darning in my needles. And the next part took me a while to come up with. I had all of this done for weeks. And I did not know how I wanted to finish it off, but I knew I wanted white on my tree. So what I did, you're going to pick the bottom row, get as close to the bottom as possible. You're going to chain 2, and you're, yeah, you can wrap around and pull 2, wrap around and pull 2, oop, wrap around, pull 2, so that's 1, 3, and 4, so you have 4 on there. Go through them all. Actually, slip stitch when you're done. 1, 2, and you're going to repeat that procedure. So you're going to chain 1, 2, and you're going to go 1, 2, so that's actually 3 and 4. Go around the tip, slip stitch at the end, single crochet 2 more, and then in the third one you chain 2, wrap around the needle, pull through 2, wrap around the needle, pull through 2. You will have 3 loops on the hook. Pull through 2 more, that's 4. You go through all of them, and then you slip stitch up, and then you 1, 2, and because you're at the end, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and you're gonna 1, 2, 3, because that's 4 on the hook. And now come in. Now, one thing I also did to help was I then grabbed this yarn and I traveled with this yarn across, stitching up all along the way. So really emphasizing the snow at the base of, I guess, the branches. So you just want to come right in as low as you can. If you can go in the same stitch, great. If you have to go above it, you can do that. So I can go in the stitch there, and I come out, and then I go into the next one, and I come out. And what that'll do is that'll give your project a little more white on the bottom, which are on these snow rows, which I actually really liked because I didn't think there was quite enough white. I thought the green peered through a little bit too much when I finished. So I did it at the end, but you can do it now. So I'm just going to pull them all through and then wrap, pull, and then you're just going to have to darn that tail in at the end. So there's your first row. I'm going to trim that. So we're going to do the same thing 2 more times, allowing it to look more like this tree. So as I said, and it is important to darn up these ends because they get really confusing if you don't as you're going along. I definitely found that out when I didn't, because I had pulled it apart a couple of times and I wasn't sure how it was going to go together and I didn't know how I liked it. So I didn't want to completely adhere it. So now you're going to pick about the middle row and you're just going to pull your chain out. Now this one will be a little bit more hard because you don't actually have the baseline. So that's, oops, messed that up. So that's 1, 2, 3, go through all. You're going to come here and you're going to start going across here. So 1, 2 on the third one. And now this is where it's going to get a bit confusing. You're going to find a green hole, wrap your hook around, go back, wrap your hook around, go to the first hole, wrap again, go to the back hole, wrap again. So you should have about 4 on there. I like to go back to the first one, pull it through all of them, go back to the center, and then you're going to do 2 more. It is a little confusing. I will do 1 more. It's because you don't have the bottom here. So what you're going to do is see there's a hole right there. We're going to wrap the back around. I'm going to come forward, wrap it again, go to the back, wrap it again. So that's 4, 5, and this one, when I go through again, wrap through and come up through all the stitches, stitch it in again, come across, we're going down, come up, 2. And actually, if you're worried about that, that's going to make it look a little bit more realistic because in nature, it isn't always symmetrical. So there's 1, 2, 3, and I think that's 4. So we're just going to come back. And now I'm going to double each and every stitch. And this will help actually level if you did go offline. You can kind of get it back a little bit more. Going through the center of each stitch allows you to, oopsies. There. Go in, go from behind, pull through. Go in behind, pull through. Always using the back to where your yarn is going to be coming from. So it kind of covers up everything. And as I said, by doubling this up, it just gives you this really nice thick snow look on here, as I said. And it really does help. Now the top row is very much like the first row. It's a little bit easier to do. Actually, I've got 2 more rows. Come out through the back, darn it through, and then pull it out. Oops. I have to grab that in a minute. Throw that out. So now you're going to go up here. You're going to do one more row, and yet again, this is going to be a harder row to do. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go through, and you're going to come 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. So up, down, up, down, up, come out through, and then 1, 2, and then you're going to do the next one here. So 1, 2, 3, pull out, and then I'm going to yet again turn the work as I'm going backwards. So I'm working mainly from below, and we just keep wrapping around through the back of the hook. And as I said, this is really where it starts to plump up the snow layers, make them look thick. And then we are just going to pull that out. Trim these 2 ends. You don't want them there like that. We're going to darn this in, and we will finish by the top row. And then we'll sew them on, and we will be done. So I'm just going to pull that back, sew up through the back. Trim it off. Now I am going to use this white to sew it on, just so you're aware. But we're going to start with the very tip, and we're just going to do 1 in the tip here. So we're just going to 1, 2, 3, and you just come up like that. So there's the tip of your tree. And as I said, it looks so cute with these little snow baubles. And then you just want to stitch this up, making sure that it's nice and tight. So now I'm going to sew it right here on the inside. So we want to get a bit of a tail. I'm just going to use the white. It'll blend in. So, and you're just going to go from the back of it, come up to the front. Don't pull too hard. You do not want to pull it all the way through. And you pull it up. I definitely recommend tying a knot in it so you don't pull it out on yourself. And now hold it in place and sew through the white. And you just want to sew it up and on. I'm going down so I can sew it deeper, and then you come up and you sew it up near the top. And that way I am getting it adhered at the top and the bottom of this white on the bottom here. You want to make sure you get a good, there we go. And as I said, a good stitch, a good tight You want to know it's good and stitched on really well. I'm just going to keep going around and around, sewing it up. Oh, I have some black fuzz in here because it does do that when you trim black. If you wanted to put a tiny bit of red on the hat, it wouldn't be opposed to. It looks really cute. I've done it on my coffee cup cozy. I don't do it on this guy, and I'm okay with that. I am going to attach them right here, so I'm going to sew through both of them, trying to make sure they're both attached, because I do think that'll help keep them upright so they don't fall over after time. And then what I also did, I'll go through a couple more times, tightening that up. And then what I also did was I came up through behind the hand and I grabbed the snow right there, just so that the tree is holding the snowman, because I don't think the tree is going to fall, but I do worry the snowman may not hold its strength through that. So then you just want to string it through and you're almost done. So there we have it. A really cute snowman coaster. Totally my own idea. All came from me. I hope you like it. I hope to see you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.